Good afternoon, Beauthemechanic here again. Hey, it's Beauthemechanic. Today's video is going to be on a Honda Accord, 2000 Honda Accord, how to change your starter. What happens when your starter goes bad? What does it do? What does it sound like? Well, just so happens a car got towed in just a second ago. That's what's wrong with it. It's got a no start. So you put the key in the ignition, it just goes click, 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 click. It makes a clicking noise. You could yank the battery out and charge it all day long. The battery's charged, it just won't start. So here's what it looks like. Like I said, this is a 2000 Honda Accord, but it's the same on many, many, many models. 2000 Honda Accord 2.3. These also came in the Honda Accord, the Honda Civics. A lot of the pilots are the same. I mean, they're very, very similar. This is what your engine looks like. You put the key in the ignition. I'm sure a lot of you guys have even seen this. Click, nothing. Doesn't do anything. Keep on clicking all day long, doesn't do anything. Okay, well, how do we fix this? This can save you a lot of money, man. The shops will kill you on starters. You know, you can just go buy brand new starter for 120 bucks, I think this was. You know, it's got a lifetime warranty. You can change it yourself. A note that they're going to charge you a core, okay? And what that's called is it's a rebuildable core. So you go buy that, and it's going to be 120 bucks plus usually, 20 bucks, 50 bucks, whatever the core charge is, and you'll get that 50 bucks back as soon as you return the old starter back to whoever you bought it from, okay? And what they do with them, they just rebuild them and they sell them to you, to somebody else. They rebuild your old starter, send it off, get it rebuilt, and then they sell it to somebody else. Kind of crazy, but that's what they do. So anyway, what do we do now? All right. Well, I'm going to show you how to check that starter for one thing. Anytime you go get a starter, because they're rebuilt, it says remanufactured on the box. It means that it was rebuilt. So it's always a good idea to check the damn thing before you put it in, because a lot of times you'll put it in and then the damn thing still won't start, and maybe this is bad, and you just wasted all this time. So, I'm going to show you that in just a second. First, let's yank this one apart. Okay, so what do we do? Well, first thing we're going to do, take the battery out. I've already kind of been in here and loosened some of these bolts, but you take your battery free. Let's set this thing here. Let's take that out. Air filter. Let's take it out. Clips. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's usually a band clamp right here, but this one's already gone. Somebody's been in here before. And right here, this one's already loose because I've been in here, but there's a Phillips head right there. This goes to your throttle body, so your intake. So just unthread this Phillips head and wiggle it free. Like that. And be careful, and you pull this pipe out. And there you go. So now this whole pipe comes free. Now you can see the air filter. Okay, now what we're working towards is this thing right here. This thing right here is your starter, and right below it's the solenoid, and there's all this stupid crap in between. I know it looks scary, but it's really not, okay? Next what we're going to do, we yank the battery, we yank this big air filter tube. We're going to take this distributor cap off, just so we can access it and get more room to play with, okay? Not scary. Any girl could do this, any guy can do this if you have minimal tools. Phillips heads, there's 1, 2, and 3. You take 3 Phillips head screws, and they're also an 8mm bolt at the same time. So if you strip it out, you still got another chance. You can put in an 8mm wrench or a socket on it and spin it off. So I'm going to do that really quick. I'm going to take this off, and I got to use 2 hands. So I'll do that, and we'll start again. Okay, here's what it looks like. I just yanked it free. Nothing crazy. I know it looks scary, but this thing is your distributor cap. And if I can get it, it sits like that. I just took the 3 bolts free. I said they were 8. Some of them are. This one just happened to be a 7. I think it's been replaced before. Obviously, this is pretty newer than the car. So you just take those 3 nuts, 3 bolts free. This thing just comes off. Check it. Set it over there. Yeehaw. Now what I want to do is move this hose, the coolant hose. This is a radiator hose. Okay. So there's a banjo clamp right here. Get you a pair of pliers, and then we're going to pop this thing free and pop it free from its little cradle that it holds, because we're trying to get to this thing right here. The starter, we're going to replace the starter and solenoid. It's all one piece, but we need to access it. So here we go. I'm going to yank this clamp free. Cool, making slow but sure progress. Just yank the hose free. Yank the starter free next. Take this 10mm bolt free right here. This holds the one wire. Take that wire free. this 10mm bolt. Next thing is 2 bolts. Right there's one. Right there's one. 2 14mm bolts next. Sweet, making slow progress. Alright, so I yanked my 2 bolts. They're both 14mm bolts. You yank, one goes right there. Let me get your light for y'all. Yeah, see, one goes down there, and then the other one goes right there. As you can tell, this is a Mitsubishi Honda original starter. So I yanked the first wire. Let's see if you guys can see this. This is that wire that I told you in the little bolt. This thing just sets like this, and this bracket just holds that radiator hose I told you about. And this wire right here is your actual switching wire. So this wire right here comes straight from the key. From the key, this is the power that tells the starter, hey, turn on. The starter always has battery voltage, and it's bolted to the engine, so it's always grounded. So it's just sitting there waiting for a small electrical signal to turn on, and that's what the solenoid does. So the only other wire we got to do, the starter's free, the only other wire we got to do is this plastic cover right here. If you pull this thing off, that's the actual battery lead. This is why it's important that the battery's disconnected to the car, because we don't want to like cause a spark or anything like that. So we're going to pull this plastic piece off, and you can see there's a 12mm bolt right there, so we're going to take it off now.
I'm not wanted for anything.
We're still here. Alright, note to you guys. I thought this was so. All the Hondas I've ever seen come with this little crappy spring, and the little crappy spring goes inside your distributor cap, and a lot of times they'll pop off if they're old. So it just basically sits right in there. If you look at the spring, it's a little bit bigger on one side than it is on the other, so that just basically shoves it into that distributor cap, and it basically closes the gap between the coil right here and the cap itself. So just be mindful, if you take it off, don't lose that damn thing like I just did. Everybody say hey to Edward. Dr. Sai, master fabricator right here. Anyway, killer, still here. Alright, check it out. Old, new. This is probably original, as you can see. Still says Honda on it, so it's probably from 2000. That damn thing lasted a long time. There's our new one. How do you check them when they show up? Like I told you, you should check it when it's brand new in the box just to make sure it works. Here's how you check it. There's the battery that came in the car. Red to positive, black to negative. The black just gets bolted to the body of the unit, you see? It's just grounding the whole casing. The positive wire goes to this nut right here, which on this one, it's just right there, it's got a nut on it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump it. Like I told you guys, these things always have battery voltage. That's how the starter works. It's always got a supply, but it's just looking for the switching signal. And that switching signal is going to come, it's right there. That little spade terminal is what it's called. And that was that weird radiator, the radiator hose clamp. It just goes to here and then right to that spade clamp. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to step on it because I don't want it to spin. It'll spin pretty quick. And I'm going to touch it and see if it works, okay? As you can see, it works. That's good. We know this one's good. It should. It's brand new. Now let's put it in, check the old one. So, we know that one's good. Let's check this one. Clamp the body of it. Now it's grounded. Step on it. Cool. Oh no, my camera's pretty dang shaky, guys. Sorry about you. Here you go. See if it works. Nope. See, it doesn't spin. The solenoid's clicking in, but the actual starter itself is not spinning, okay? And so there's 2 parts to a starter. This part actually spins it and gets this thing to kick out and spin. The solenoid actually does the kick out procedure, so it kicks out to the flywheel. And this part right here actually just spins. So it's kicking it out still, but it's not spinning. So, something inside here's failed. You know, maybe it's burned out the windings or whatever. You know, we could rebuild it if we lived in Africa or someplace, or in Russia, you know, you might want to rebuild it. But here, parts are so damn cheap, we might as well just, you know, replace it, you know. So anyway, that we've already diagnosed what's wrong with it. So, this one, it's no good for our purposes today, so we're going to return it. It's going back. That one tested positive. It works great. Hell yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back in just like I showed you guys. That thing goes right back in. I got my 2 14mm bolts right there that are going to go in and bolt it to the car. Then I'm going to hook my my one wire this wire right here, this big one, this battery positive supply, it gets hooked into it. Then remember, I've got this crazy wire, the radiator hose clamp that holds it, and it just goes on there. And then there's the spade terminal, and that's the one that comes from your key, and we're gonna put it on there. Another thing, I saw there was like one video like online, but it had the most horrible fucking music I've ever heard. Why do people make videos with the most retarded music ever? You know, now I say that, and I'm sure you guys could probably find some of my videos that has music, but my videos, it's just music in the background, probably on the radio. You know, I get bored here by myself, so a lot of times I have the radio on. I'm not trying to put songs, you know, while the video's running. It just sounds retarded. But anyway, whatever. I hope this helped you guys, and I hope you guys can do it yourself now. Like I said, this is not very difficult. Just repeat the procedure to put it back together, and this could probably save you guys $600 or something, man, at least. You know, any shop's going to charge you $400, $500, $600. So I hope this helps, man.